I want to welcome you all here today to our Franklin Youth Initiative Black History Month celebration. We were going to start at 6:30. We have a program where our youth will do performances, and then at 7 o'clock we will start our council meeting. And during that time, we will do the unveiling of the President Barack Obama official portrait, as well as we'll have a New Jersey Orders performance, and we'll have a proclamation, and we'll do a commendation. You can't hear me?
Now I can.
Okay, all right. So we want you all to eat, drink water, and be merry. No sugary drinks today, but we do have lots of cookies. I haven't put them out yet because I wanted people to eat, get some nourishment, feel good, and then you could have dessert. So from 6:30 to 7, we're going to have a dance group perform. I don't see the divas and gents here, but they're here. Okay, good. And what about the Zenos and Kudos? Are they here?
They're here.
They're here. Okay, wonderful. So everybody's here. So the Zenos and Kudos will go after they finish, and then the divas and gents will go last. We are winging this. Basically, it's not very formal, but we're going to have a wonderful time. Okay, so enjoy yourself, and I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Amos.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out. My name is Aaron Ramos. I am the dance teacher at Franklin Middle School. We have our advanced 8th grade girls class here. Just to give you a little blurb about our program, our district has been recognized by the state of New Jersey with an award of Model for Excellence in the Arts. That means we provide all 4 arts form from 3rd grade through high school. So these are our advanced 8th grade all-girls class. We are going to perform an African dance for you, and then after that we have 6 talented dancers who choreographed their own dance with some props. So enjoy the show.
Nowadays, technology rules the landscape of modern music. But if we go back to the roots of rhythm, African tribes are the living proof that pleasure in music comes straight from the beat of the drum. Africa. Nowadays, technology to celebrate the joy of life to take up all night. Men and women gathering around the fire were chanting and singing their song. African tribes gathering around the fire were chanting and singing their song. Africa.
Try again from the top. Technical difficulties.
This is how I show my love. Baby, let my mind be closed. Baby, let my baby, baby. This is how an angel goes. Baby, let my own surprise. Baby, let my baby, baby. Maybe I should cry for help. Maybe I should kill myself.
Franklin Middle School. In the spirit of Black History Month, Paul Robeson, an artist himself, once made us understand the depth of the calling of someone who is an artist. And I'm going to quote him. He said, "Artists are gatekeepers of the truth. We are civilization's real voice." And that is so true even to today. Next, we're going to hear from the Divas and Gents. Are you ready? Well, they told me that kudos weren't here yet. Are they here? Are they ready? Okay, so we'll do. Wasn't that a very nice performance? Give them a hand again. Very nice, very nice. Okay, the drummers are coming in. It's kind of tight. We don't have a lot of room, so we're making do. You guys got enough room up there? Okay. All ready? Oh, move that out the way. Yeah, can you move it to the side? Just in case you don't know, the Divas and Gents won the national championship last year. They beat out Trenton, Camden, Philadelphia, New York, they are our national champions. The drill and drum squad. That's marvelous. That's marvelous. They're actually having another Black History Month program on February 23rd over at the Senior Center. So if you want to see more of that action and you want to see all of them, that's just a small group of them. There's about 50 of them. If you want to see every one of their subgroups perform, I recommend you go over to the Senior Community Center on February 23rd at, I think it starts at 6 o'clock. The Senior Center, right here, right in back of our municipal building. 6 o'clock, February 23rd. It's a Saturday. Costs $5. They're trying to raise money for their group. But they are very, 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 very good, and I'm so, so, so proud of them. Okay, now are the Zenos and Kudos, are they ready? Okay. In the meantime, can you hear me? You can't hear me? I'm talking as loud as I can. Where is Dan? Here he is. Come on up, Dan. While we're waiting on them to come in line, maybe you can introduce some of our youth groups that are here.
Okay. I'd be glad to. I'm tired just watching that. So one of the reasons we're here tonight too is to honor all of the young people in Franklin Township who have really gone out of their way to make Franklin Township a better place to live. First of all, I would like to introduce the Youth Council. Anybody who's here from Youth Council, would you please? There they are, all the way in the back. Let's have a nice round of applause. Boys Council, is Bruce here? Is Boys Council here yet? Any? Oh, the area, okay. I can just tell you that we're really proud of the Boys Council. These are youngsters who are really trying to put their act together and make school and make living a better place for themselves and their families. Girls Circle? Anybody here from Girls Circle? There, yes. Teen Rec. I know I saw Alice. If you're from Teen Rec, would you please stand up? And the Police Academy graduates. I know they're right over here. Good work, guys. I saw a movie earlier this year with some of the graduates, and the training you had to go through. I know it's really tough, and you guys did a good job. We also have Franklin Township Youth Sports Groups. Cricket, Bharat Patel. Is Mr. Patel here? There's Franklin Township Baseball League President Chris Paley. Soccer, Bill Gallagher. Wrestling, Steve Wright. And Pop Warner, Stanley Crowther. So a nice round of applause for all of these people who help our youngsters. Also invite, do you want me to do the also invited parts? Okay. We have representatives from the Franklin Township Interfaith Council, the Cultural Arts Council, Deputy Mayor Roz Sherman. I saw her here before. There's Roz. SCAP, Week of the People. Percy Sanders is the chair. And members from Week of the People. I've seen some members here. I didn't see Percy. Yeah, there we are. Thank you. An Advisory Rec Council, Keith Stewart is the chair, if there's anybody here from Rec Council. Other people who have been invited, and this is really quite a success. This is, we have the Housing Authority, Human Relations Commission, Gary Rosenthal, I saw Gary here. Redevelopment Agency, Michael Giantano. I didn't see Michael. All right. If anybody from any of these agencies, if you would just stand up to be acknowledged. These are all volunteer positions, by the way, and that's one of the things that makes Franklin so great is all the volunteers. Youth Services Commission, Alice Osipowicz. I saw Alice. School Superintendent, Mr. Cito. There he is in the back. The Board of Education, President Julia Presley, and Ava Naj. I saw Ava here too. Hamilton Street Bus and Community Court, Michael Pappas. Yes. Chamber of Commerce, anybody here from the Chamber? Leon, yes. And he's been a great help, I have to tell you, with our Franklin Youth Initiative. Oh, there, Leon, yes. And the president. JFK members and municipal committees and chairs. I've seen a number of people. There's Chanel, they're here. And the Community for Change members. I saw a couple. Chanel is here, still here, she didn't leave. Want me to go over to you finish these and I'll go over to the Franklin Youth Initiative? Okay, just read that. Okay. Some of the other people who have been invited, and I've seen some, Advisory Board of Health, Chris Kelly is the chair. When I'm done, if you would like to do just applause at the end would be good. The Agricultural Advisory Committee, Bob Puskis. Board of Adjustment, Bob Thomas is the chair. The Cable Television Advisory Committee, Victoria Chase. Environmental Commission, Arnold Vernick is the chair. Historic Preservation Advisory Commission, the Joint Advisory Committee on Kingston, Library Board of Trustees, Municipal Ethics Committee, Open Space Advisory Committee, Planning Board, Sewage Authority, Shade Tree Commission, and the Trails Advisory Committee. All of these people and committees volunteer. Okay, they're ready? Okay, you want to leave the
Okay, thank you. So as you can see, this is a township-wide event, and we asked everybody to come, and we're so happy you're all here. So now the Zenos and Kudos are ready to perform. They're part of a youth mentoring group, grades 9 through 12, under the National Sorority of Phi Delta Kappa Incorporated Teaching Sorority, and they will step for us. I'm so glad you made it. Yay! They can see. Very nice. And I heard that that's a small amount of that group. They couldn't fit everybody up here. So this concludes the first part of our program. Now, the second part of the program, we're going to start our council meeting, and we're going to go into our formal program as far as the council. People can go, we're going to put out some cookies and finish. Please eat all the rest of the food. And we'll have our Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts do our Pledge of Allegiance. We're going to have a performance by the New Jersey Orders. You can stay. Please stay until 7:30 because we will have our unveiling of our President Obama picture. So I think you want to stay for that, okay?
This work session, regular meeting of the Township Council is called to order. In accordance with Section 5 of the Open Public Meeting Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, be advised that adequate notice of this work session, regular meeting of the Township Council of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, was made by the posting on the bulletin board at the municipal complex and transmitted to the officially designated newspapers. A list of dates annually indicating that this work session regular meeting would take place at the Franklin Township Municipal Complex at 7:00 p.m. on Tuesday, February 12th, 2013. In addition, a copy of this notice is and has been available to the public and is on file in the office of the municipal clerk. So today I'm especially privileged and proud to be the mayor of a town where everyone is here. I'm glad to see you. And we're honored to have both our Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts to do our flag salute. And after that, we will have the invocation. Please remain standing after the Pledge of Allegiance by Councilwoman Kimberly Francois.
Ladies and gentlemen of Franklin Township, we are Boy Scout Troop 154, and we would like to present Girl Scout Troops 60655 and 60629, who will be leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Will you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Aye.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now for the invocation. May those assembled here today enjoy the many offerings of our township. May we abide by the rules we have established, those of trust, fellowship, and ethics, and may we place service above self in our daily endeavors. May we always test ourselves in our efforts to be sure that they are truth, good for all concerned, all a benefit to mankind, and provide peace and understanding. O God, the Creator, Redeemer, all the faithful, hear our supplications, and through thy infinite love and mercy, graciously grant us the strength and power in our thoughts and decisions to be for the benefit of all people at all times. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Madam Clerk, please call the roll of the council.
Councilman Chase.
Here.
Councilwoman Francois.
Here.
Councilman Kramer.
Here.
Mayor Levine.
Here.
Councilman Prasad.
Here.
Councilman Regan. Deputy Mayor Sherman.
Here.
Councilman Vasanella.
Here.
Councilman Wright.
Here.
Okay, thank you very much. And we're all pleased and honored to see everybody here. If you want to know what we'll be doing, we have agendas. You can feel free to get up. It's not rude by the clerk's desk to go get an agenda, follow along at any time. They are on our website, usually the weekend before the meeting. Feel free to take a look at them. You also can see associated resolutions, ordinances, so you know ahead of time what is happening at the meeting. We're always glad to have your input, either at the meeting, email, fax, calls, visits, however you want to do it. So, my mug for today's meeting is from Mount Vernon, where George Washington had his home, for President's Day coming on up, and especially we are in a few moments going to unveil a portrait of our current president, so that all works very well. So for now, we're at item number 5 on the agenda, Black History Month celebration, and I will please be joined at the podium by Councilwoman Kimberly Francois.
So if you've never been to a council meeting before, we do everything in an official act called a proclamation. So this proclamation exclaims the Black History Month for today. So I will read some of it. It's always whereas. Whereas Black History Month honors and affirms the importance of Black history throughout the American experience, and whereas the history of people of African heritage goes back thousands of years and includes some of the greatest, most advanced, innovative societies in the history and of human existence. Whereas Black History Month is a time for all Americans to reflect on the rich history and teachings of African Americans whose contributions are vast and wide. Whereas the many local organizations and many individuals throughout our township are dedicated to the principle of fostering civic, economic, and educational programs throughout the township of Franklin, and are dedicated to encouraging reflection on the rich history and teachings of African Americans, and bearing witness to the progress, beauty, and achievements they have made throughout our community. Whereas it is fitting we set aside a special time to acknowledge this important segment of citizens of our community and their history. Now, therefore, we, our mayor and Kimberly Francois, and on behalf of the Township Council, do hereby proclaim the month of February to be Black History Month in the Township of Franklin, and we urge all citizens to join us in celebrating the diversity and character of our community and highlight the importance of sharing our culture, customs, and traditions with those around us. Thank you. Actually, I want the order to come up first and then do it. Okay. I'm changing the agenda for a little bit. So we're now going to have our New Jersey Order youth come up and do a performance. Do you want to come up and introduce her? We have the CEO, co-founder, Ms. Karen Hunter, and Mr. Jim Hunter, husband and wife team of the New Jersey Orders. Woo! They do such great work in our township.
I want to say, first of all, thanks to the council, Mayor Levine and Ms. Kimberly Francois for inviting us here today. My name is Karen Hunter, and I am one of the many volunteer coach with the New Jersey Orators, especially the Somerset chapter. Now, the New Jersey Orator teaches young kids from the age of 7 through high school how to do public speaking. And tonight I brought a special orator with me. Her name is Simone Renee Edwards. Now she's from Oakwood High School. She's a 9th grader, and she's a second-year member of the Somerset chapter of the New Jersey Orators. And now I'm going to ask Simone to come up and do her presentation.
Good evening. Before I begin, I'd like to thank the Franklin Township Youth Initiative, the Franklin Township Mayor, Brian Levine, the Franklin Township Council, and the New Jersey Orators for inviting me to speak at the Black History Month reception. I'm delighted to be here and be given this opportunity to speak to you. This evening, I will be presenting in the category of oral interpretation of poetry. The title of my poem is The Negro Mother, written by Langston Hughes. I chose this piece because I'm inspired by Langston Hughes' writings. Langston Hughes, born February 1st, 1902, and died May 22nd, 1967, was an American poet, playwright, short story writer, novelist, and columnist. He was one of the earliest innovators of the new literary art form jazz poetry. Hughes is best known for his work during the Harlem Renaissance, or the New Negro Movement, which refers to the flowering of the African American intellectual life during the 1920s and the 1930s. This is one of the many pieces Langston Hughes wrote. Children, I come back today to tell you a story of the long, dark way that I had to climb, that I had to know, in order that the race might live and grow. Look in my face, as dark as the night, yet shining like the sun with love's true light. I am the dark girl who crossed the Red Sea, carrying in my body the seed of the free. I am the woman who worked in the field, bringing the cotton and the corn to yield. I am the one who labored as a slave, beaten and mistreated for the work that I gave. I'm the one children sold away from me. I'm husband sold too. No safety, no love, no respect was I due. 300 years in the deepest South. But God put a song and a prayer in my mouth. God put a dream like steel in my soul. Now through my children, I'm reaching the goal. Now through my children, young and free, I realized the blessing deed to me. I couldn't read then. I couldn't write. I had nothing back there in the night. Sometimes the valley was filled with tears, but I had to keep on through the lonely years. Sometimes the road was hot with the sun, but I had to keep on till my work was done. I had to keep on, no stopping for me. I was the seed of the coming free. I nourished that dream that nothing could smother. Deep in my breast, the Negro mother. I had only hope then, but now through you, dark ones of today, my dream must come true. All you dark children in the world out there, remember my sweat, my pain, my despair. Remember my years, heavy with sorrow, and make of those years a torch for tomorrow. Make of my past a road to the light. Out of the darkness, the ignorance, the night. Lift high my banner, out of the dust. Stand like free men, supporting my trust. Believe in the right, let none push you back. Remember the whip and the slaver's track. Remember the strong in struggle and strife, still bar you the way and deny you life. But march ever forward, breaking down bars. Look ever upward toward the sun, moon, and stars. On my dark children, may my dreams and my prayers impel you forever up the great stairs. For I will be with you till no white brother dares to keep down the children of the Negro mother. Langston Hughes' presence is very much alive in Harlem today. After all, he was considered one of the leading voices in the Harlem Renaissance. Again, my name is Simone Edwards, and I just recited in your hearing The Negro Mother, written by Langston Hughes. Thank you.
Okay, so this is the culmination of our Black History Month reception. It was very important to me to have all of our youth come here tonight and perform, and to show the rich heritage of the African American community. And now I'm very proud to do the unveiling of our 44th President official portrait. It's interesting that we picked today. Today happens to be Abraham Lincoln's birthday, February 12th. He was born 1809. So 150 years ago, President Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation, which freed the slaves. Although it would take decade upon decade of struggle for African Americans to achieve the equal treatment and protection under law, the proclamation was a very courageous attempt to begin that process. 150 years later, after that historic event, we recognize a very important milestone here today. And although we have not totally achieved the goal, our nation's goal of equality and equal justice for all, we're striving towards that. Fast forward to today, 150 years since the proclamation. We have our 44th president giving the State of the Union address this Mardi Gras Tuesday. And there will be millions of Americans watching him on television and listening to him espouse and share his plans for our future, and also talk about some of the very many accomplishments he's made as the president. Although he has faced a lot of very intense, hostile opposition, he has continued to move forward and do a lot of great things for us as a people, not just for African Americans, but for the country and for the world. And so, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor for me tonight to unveil the official portrait of our 44th president in honor of Black History Month, President Barack Obama. The portrait is over here. It will be hung up here on the wall next to President John F. Kennedy. As you can see, we have Abraham Lincoln and George Washington up there, so we thought it was only appropriate to do that. And why this is so important to me for our youth, it's an opportunity to inspire them, to let them know our president had a dream. It was almost impossible for him to achieve the goal that he's achieved when you look at it's taken 150 years since the proclamation, emancipation. And what I wanted to say to our youth is you can dream. You should have a dream. And once you have that dream, you set goals and you work towards that dream, and anything is possible. And let our president inspire you with that thought. So, Mayor, you want to come up and help me unveil?
Before you get it up, photos. Excuse me. Can we just move this chair? Yeah, over there. Thank you. All the way across.
Let's know when. Oh, let's know when you're ready. Let's know when you're ready.
Step in, Ms. Francois.
Ready? Ready? Photographer.
Now we can flip. It's non-reflective glass.
Oh, and it isn't. They haven't changed that. It looks more reflective than this. Either way, they should hang it. The nail's there. You got an empty spot.
That probably looks better from my thing.
Yeah. But the nail's up there, so they can literally put it right up. That's where it's going, right? It's going right there?
Yeah, yeah.
whatever Kimberly wants to do, put it right up there for the meeting.
We were just talking about putting Franklin
Right.
over there,
You mean, yeah, Ben.
where,
And then-
then where that painting is.
And
As I
then,
said, that painting is actually a mill in Montgomery, so.
Oh, yeah, it looked familiar. I thought I've seen that, but they start to look the same. And maybe,
He's not a president.
I don't know.
Put him here as town father.
Town father, put him on the side.
I like Ben. I like him.
We'll see what happens.
He was a good liberal guy.
Well, so far,
He was my
the
man after my own
Baltimore Ravens, which you said were going to win, won. So it could be a year of upsets.
Yeah.
I'm sure she'll close the gap, but I would imagine Robert's probably going to be an underdog to some degree. But then again, so would
Well,
Ravens.
I think the big question is, Christie is going to be tugged between taking positions which would be good for him in New Jersey versus positions which would be good for him in the national.
You've summed it up in that sentence. No, I
And
know.
specifically, whether he allows the expansion of Medicaid to be paid for 100% for the first 2 years by the federal government, 90% after that. The Republican governors have turned it down.
I know.
And there's pressure on him to approve this. And he said, his spokesperson says, the governor hasn't put him.
For all the items today, I just want to especially thank our Councilwoman Kimberly Francois, who did the bulk, if not all the work, in putting this together. That was a great effort and a success, too. So that's a bonus. And in a moment, we're going to, she's going to mention about the Franklin Youth Initiative, and a couple of years ago,
Someone who does things in spite
um,
loses state.
Councilwoman Francois, and then Deputy Mayor Dan Glicklick, who's still here, were, along with me, were the founders of Franklin Youth Initiative, and they certainly put in, again, most of the time and effort in bringing that together. So, Councilwoman Francois.
The woman.
So you've been hearing a lot about the Franklin Youth Initiative, but you might not know what it's really about. We started 5 years ago when we had 2 fatal shootings here in Franklin Township. And the Franklin Youth Initiative is made up of about 50 volunteers from all over the township and other places of people who would like to join and help us out. We have an education subcommittee, a recreation subcommittee, a faith-based subcommittee which branched out to the Interfaith Council, and we have a public safety subcommittee, and I think if you were here earlier, you saw the police academy graduates that came out of that subcommittee. I would ask members of the Franklin Youth Initiative to stand if there are anybody here. I think they all left. There's a few. There's a few. There's a few. And there's Mr. Sanders. What makes the Youth Initiative so special? We've done a lot of stuff for our youth here in Franklin Township. And we've put a great program in the middle school, which is a gang prevention program. We've partnered with our school system, and we've opened up a teen drop-in center over at the middle school. And I'm happy to say we have a corporate sponsor who helped us subsidize our event tonight, helped us pay for the food, and they have given us $10,000. So come on up. Come on up. $10,000. $10,000. That's supposed to. You can't put it like that. You guys.
Are they located?
No, stand over there.
Why don't we?
Yeah.
Tell the audience.
Elizabeth Avenue.
Tell the audience.
Well, okay, move over. Like that. Is that good? Huh? He's our professional photographer.
Exactly.
Have you noticed?
Thank you.
Okay. You good? That's good. Okay, here. Let me- My eyes were closed? Oh, that's not gonna work. Okay. All right. So, don't go anywhere. We have to read this commendation to you. We have Michael Harris, who is the AVP and branch manager. Linda Martin, who's sitting over there, wouldn't come up. I don't know why. Okay. She's a VP and market manager. And then we have Jackie here, Jackie Penna. She's a senior VP and regional manager. And we want to really thank them for their sponsorship. So I'm going to read the commendation because I think it really talks about, I wrote it myself, so I'm going to read it. It must be good, yeah, because I wrote it. Whereas in 2007, the Franklin Youth Initiative was formed in response to a rash of violent incidences which resulted in the deaths of several Franklin youth. And FYI was formed with the goal of stopping violence within our community by simply providing our youth with enriched activities. FYI has created initiatives to help youth achieve and maintain healthy, active lifestyles, inspire youth to become active contributors to their community through character building and leadership programs, to increase recreational, employment, and community building opportunities within Franklin Township, and develop initiatives that aid young people in developing self-expression and creativity, multicultural appreciation, as well as exposure to skills and crafts and visual, performing, and literary arts. Whereas none of this would be possible without the use of a facility for our youth to have a safe place to go to address their social development and recreational needs. And creating this environment is the reason why we established the FYI Drop-In Center for Franklin Township at our middle school. We could not have done that without the partnership of our superintendent, Ed Cito, and our president and the board members, and they're here today. Whereas in these hard economic times, Investor Bank became a FYI corporate sponsor and has provided a $10,000 grant, and they've given us 10 computers to equip the FYI Drop-In Center with the necessary items to support these programs and services. Now therefore, I, Councilwoman Kimberly Francois, and Mayor Brian Levine, on behalf of the Council of the Township of Franklin and the Franklin Youth Initiative, acknowledge and sincerely thank the Investors Bank sponsors, Michael Harris, Linda Martin, Jackie Penna, for their sponsorship and active part in enriching the lives of our youth in Franklin Township. Thank you very much. Okay, oh, she's gonna come up, okay. I'm hot. Keep my eyes open, okay. One more. Okay. Let me take my glasses off. That'll keep me open. Get the check. Oh, get the check. Organized here. Is that good? There we go. Is that good? Is that good?
I'm sending it.
Another one. It'll look good.
You done?
I know. Take a few years to figure out what that is.
There we go. Now.
Okay.
All right.
Now, we have to hear from investors.
Thank you.
Say something.
There's a quote from Mahatma Gandhi that I love. He says the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in serving others. So we gladly accept and appreciate the honor of this proclamation on behalf of, again, those here with us from Investors Bank. Some of the team members have come to celebrate with us. There are 4 core values that, we model our behaviors after at Investors Bank: character, cooperation, commitment, and community. And these four core values aren't just things that sound good, but they're really the foundation and the catalyst that drive everything we do. We find that it's one thing, to come to work every day, but then it's another thing to come to work to find purpose and to know that what you're doing is affecting lives. And so it's for that reason that we continue and will continue to partner with Franklin Township and Kim Francois and her staff and Franklin Youth Initiative to ensure the growth and success and development of the youth of Franklin Township. It's important. I was once a youth, as some of the ones that you've seen here, growing up in East Orange, New Jersey, and somebody took the time out to value the direction in my life. And here I stand today as a story of success, I would say. But again, none of us is as great as all of us, so no one shares success by themselves. So I thank everyone that participates. I particularly thank my team and all of the people that have come to support, because without all of us working together, none of this will be possible. So thank you. This is a great town, and it's easy. It's really easy to work with the people that I work with and the people that I've met. People come to me all the time, and I'm not great at accepting compliments because I look at myself as a servant. But it's easy to work with people that are nice people as well. So I'm blessed to be a part of a community, to also live in the community as well. If you didn't know, an Investors Bank, in case you didn't know, is located on 151 Pierce Street, on the corner of World's Fair Drive. So I'd love to see you. Thank you so much.
There's three of them. Yes. You got the donuts. Yes.
Okay. And if, thanks much. If I give Investor Savings one more plug from a personal experience, they do home mortgages very well also, so thank you for that. When all the things we've seen today, a couple themes come through for me. First with President Obama. He's got a great concentration and passion for education and caring. And when we had all of our youth performing their great items, their great performances, it obviously wasn't by accident. They were educated, someone cared enough, and mostly volunteers to help them. Now, we're joined by our superintendent, Mr. Cito, Dr. Presley, our president of the Board of Education, Ms. Petruka, our former president, was here also, and forming... Oh, okay. Sorry, member of Board of Education also, thanks. Seeing if I didn't miss anyone. One of our formers of the Franklin Youth Initiative, ex-Deputy Mayor Glicklick, was a teacher and guidance counselor. So I see the theme of education and caring, and I think that's what we do well as a town, and certainly can't sit back and say, okay, we've done it properly, let's stop. So it's I'm again honored to be mayor in a town with all the great people who help us out. So we'll go back to Councilwoman Francois. All right. Come down to Mr. Bornstein. Okay. All right. So our town manager, as of the last few months, and formerly lieutenant of our police department and special projects manager, he's got a lot of titles. Bob Vornlocker, I'll ask you. Sure.
I'm going to put my glasses on here. I don't get the opportunity to do this very often. I don't think that I'll probably have this opportunity to get to do this again very soon either. However, at this point in the meeting, we are here going to recognize Donna Viero, who is currently, yes, we can all clap. Donna is currently serving in the capacity of Assistant Township Manager, and she has done so for about 10 years now here in Franklin Township. And much to my dismay, and others as well. Donna has accepted a position as Township Administrator in Holmdel, New Jersey. So unfortunately, very sad, Thursday will be Donna's last day here with the Township. So I get the opportunity to read a commendation. This is kind of like how you feel, huh? I get this. Whereases and wherefores, okay. Whereas Donna Viero has served as Assistant Township Manager of the Township of Franklin since August 6, 2003, and whereas Donna will soon step down from that post to take a position as Township Administrator with the Township of Holmdel, and whereas Donna Viero has faithfully and conscientiously served the Township of Franklin for 10 years, during which period of time, numerous projects were initiated through her leadership, which will continue to have a revitalization and growing impact on the Township of Franklin. And whereas Donna Viero has served this community in many ways, including services involving economic development, human resources, and information technology, and whereas one characteristic that distinguishes Donna's career as a public servant is her enormous capacity for hard work, and whereas Donna has earned the respect of other civic leaders and the affection of a host of area residents, now therefore they, the Mayor and Council of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey, extend our appreciation to Donna Viero for the meritorious service, loyalty, and dedication she has rendered to this community, and best wishes and happiness in her future endeavors.
First of all, it's odd being on this side over there. Mayor, Deputy Mayor, Council, the dedicated staff, community servants, leaders that I've worked with over the 10 years, I'm going to miss you all. It's been a great, great time here. I value all of your hard work and dedication, and those employees that are the unsung heroes that come to work every day and do their job and no one knows their name. I salute you. This is a great community, a great council who's really dedicated to the community, and I wish you all the best, and I thank you all for a great time. Thank you.
Don't run away.
I'm running.
Don't. You stay here. Maybe I can keep you here.
No.
No, okay. I'd like to present this to you, Donna, on behalf of the mayor and the council, in recognition and sincere appreciation of your dedicated service to the Township of Franklin. Presented to Donna M. Viero, Assistant Township Manager, August 6, 2003 to February 18, 2013, by the council and the residents of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset. And we're going to miss you, sweetie.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Absolutely. I feel like this is...
That's good, right? That's good. There you go.
Who's taller, me or Phil?
It feels
It feels.
You know something, if I just bother you, you just stand there, because this podium is in the way.
Oh, that's big.
Yeah, it's right here. Right there is good, right there. Come around, there you go. System for everybody right here.
You should come in. Come on.
She doesn't want to get in the chair.
Come on, she's coming, she's coming.
Okay, good.
Come on.
Come on, G.
One of you can stand in front of me, you will not walk. I trust you. I say that's okay, I can stand in back. No matter what you do, you can lie.
I'm going to take a few pictures, okay? All right, there we go. First shot. Now, okay, there we go now. There we go. Now, I want to do one more thing. Now, whoever presented her the plaque, just go to her and do it like you're doing it. Right, there you go. Right. Now, you have to move this gentleman, sir. Yeah, gentleman, to the left, to your right a little bit. No, not you. That gentleman, this way a little bit. Right, there you go. A little more. Perfect. And move this way. And sir, just move back this way a little bit. Yeah, a little more. There you go. Don't move, man. Don't move. It's looking good. We don't want you to be shy. It's looking good. Is this guy on purpose? He's good.
We are going to hire him.
It's looking good. Sir, move it just a little bit. Right, perfect.
Make a point of it.
You guys ready? Okay. One more. One more. That looks too good a place to be on way too much. There we go now. Good. That's good. Oh, thank God. By the front door. Wait, we didn't have to do that.
Welcome back. How's your trip?
Good looking.
Very productive.
Wait a minute, we didn't get Lewis. We're babysitting.
Down there.
Calm down. You got secret life going on.
Down there.
Okay. We ready? What are you guys looking to change anything?
He's a good guy. I aspire to be like
What's that?
my whole age.
What do they do? Just tell us what you want to do. What discussion? Oh, yeah.
He wants to put in a plug for a program. Yeah, absolutely. That's fine.
If you guys have quick reports, you get rid of those questions.
No, that's what he was
Just
here
do-
for.
okay.
Should have told somebody.
All right, so we want to move that, but then we got all
Should have said
public email.
something. I had all these people here earlier. You should have said, you didn't say anything to me.
So,
You didn't know that was my program? Okay, whatever.
So do you want to move the whole public discussion now?
well, we
mean,
can't just
Deb-
leave one. I don't
and
think that
Deborah's
will.
gonna, okay,
I
so
don't
Deborah
think
will
that
wait,
allow
okay.
them to
Yeah, the
just
whole thing.
make an exception.
Okay, we're back.
Sounds like we're doing.
We're back on the agenda, and I'll recognize Councilwoman Francois. Or Councilman
Make a motion.
Vatanella.
I'm sorry, Mayor. Yes, I was going to make a motion to have the public discussion portion, that's item number 10 on the agenda, to be inserted at this time, Mayor, and then for the rest of the agenda to proceed as listed.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion is carried. What we did is, we just moved public discussion to now, and then we're going to come back to the agenda. And then this will be the only time to speak of anything of a general nature during the meeting. Later on, I'll ask if anyone wants to speak on specific ordinances, pardon me, but if you want to speak of something of a general nature, this will be the only time to do that. So, is there a motion to open the meeting for public discussion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion is carried. Okay. Our policy for public discussion is that each person come up for 5 minutes. We don't have yielding of time. Everyone comes up once per meeting. We're glad to hear what you have to say. When you come to the podium, give us your name and address, please, and direct all your comments to the council, and we're glad to hear what everyone has to say. So the meeting is open for public discussion on any item of interest. Anyone interested in speaking, please raise your hand. When I recognize you, please come to the podium. Mr. Cito.
get this right. Good evening, Mayor Levine and members of the Town Council. I guess I should follow the protocol, right? 755 Amwell Road. I don't reside there, but it feels like I reside there, if you know what I mean. First and foremost, I want to commend all the amazing students who performed today, and I also want to commend all the adults who helped our young people prepare today. Lastly and not least, Kimberly Francois and all the members of the Franklin Youth Initiative for your leadership in starting the initiative and doing the work that you have done over the last 5 years. And you spoke about themes, and one of the themes that I think was recurring tonight was this whole notion of partnership, and that we can't possibly do the things that we do without the partnerships that we have in this township. And I wanted to at least take this moment to thank you and all the members of the town council and throughout this community have partnered with us. I have two of my partners also with me from the school board, our president, Dr. Presley, and Ms. Keisha Smith-Robinson, Carrington, who is also the chair of our curriculum committee. So in terms of this partnership is kind of a nice segue to the comment I wish to make. And the purpose of my coming was not just to join in the celebration and experience of Black History Month tonight, but also to invite you all and the community, because Kim, I think it was in your remarks that you said this is a community event. And our Franklin Township School District is also about to have a community event. So this all kind of connects together. And I'd like to invite you all and the whole community to our Curriculum Expo, which is on March 9th at the high school from 9 to 12. You don't need to write it down. I just wanted to come here so that I can officially, publicly, visibly invite you, because it's a big deal. It's a big deal because our school district, my administration and the board have been working real hard in terms of redesigning our curriculum. A little background, a little over a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years, New Jersey, along with over 40 states throughout the country, adopted the Common Core standards in which the states are going to have aligned their curriculum, and New Jersey was one of those states. Now, this is a big deal because education is a state-driven function, and trying to get 40 states to agree to do anything that's in common is quite a feat. So this is a big deal. So this is as close as we're going to come to national standards, because so many states have climbed on. And the whole purpose of these standards, and you spoke about how our president is going to speak about education. Well, one of the core pieces that's driving the president's agenda is the Common Core standards and revamping curricula in all school systems, or to the 40-some-odd states who signed on, to make sure that our curriculum is competitive, our standards are competitive on a global and international level. And I'm proud to say that our school district has done a magnificent job, our staff, our administration, in collaboration and partnership with our school board. So I wanted to share that good news. And on the 9th, we're going to have an expo to kind of just, for the community, to let you experience the curriculum so that you can see how we've automated, computerized it. So we have a parent portal where any parent can have access to the curriculum. They can see any course that we teach in any content area, in any grade level, and know exactly what students are learning and expected to know. So that's an exciting thing. This level of, visibility and transparency has never really been available in the school system, especially here. And this is, I think, the first of many steps in kind of engaging the whole community and all of its parents about the work that we're doing. So I hope that you all can come. I know that Ms. Keisha Smith-Carrington is also very excited, and I'm not yielding my time, but I think she wants to also she's here tonight to just kind of support this effort. And the second part of my comment is really to ask you to promote this event because we need your support. We need your help in communicating and encouraging people to come out. I want to also thank your town manager, Bob Vornlacher, and he and I have a great relationship, and we've already had discussions about how you guys can help us promote this through your website, so thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Ms. Smith-Carrington, again, I apologize, I didn't introduce you properly when I was doing it before. Keisha Smith-Carrington, one of our...
That's absolutely fine. I'm the reluctant politician, so it's okay.
And I want to say a very good one, but that could have bad connotations. A very good board member, let's do that.
Okay. Thank you all for letting me have this time to speak. My name is Keisha Smith-Carrington. I live at 166 Hillcrest Avenue, and I am a proud member of the Franklin Township Board of Education. And as Mr. Cito's already said, we're very proud as a board of this opportunity that the district is going to be providing. I think one of the most important things is for it to be understood by anyone who's here tonight or anyone who may watch this meeting, that our expo on March 9th is not just about people who have children in our schools, but it's about our community. So it's really important to us, whether you have a child in the district, whether you had a child in the district, whether you don't have any children but you live in the district, or even if you work in the district, we really want to have participation by all members of our community. You're all our stakeholders, and our children are all of our concerns. So we are really hoping that you come out to this opportunity. As Mr. Cito's already said, it's going to be at Franklin High School on March 9th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. This is going to be a fantastic time to not only come and to witness what our curriculum looks like in action. There will be teachers who have volunteered their time to come and model for you what the experience that our children participate in on a daily basis, so that's an exciting opportunity. There will be an opportunity, as Mr. Cito's already said, to come and try out Rubicon, which is the on-site curriculum portal that we have, in addition to all of the great technology. Many of you, if you've been watching our board meetings, you know that there's been a great initiative on behalf of the district to increase the amount of access our kids have to technology. That was a concern for some years in our district, and our district has addressed that concern. So we're now at a 1-to-2 ratio of computers to children in our schools, and that's basically through laptops. Also, in addition to that, you're going to have an opportunity to come and test some of that technology out. So you'll be able to come and see some of the different software programs that are operating in our schools to see what kids get to experience throughout the day. And above all of that, as if that weren't enough, because it will indeed be an action-packed 3 hours, you will also have an opportunity to come and see some of our children actually describe their experiences, and you can also come and give feedback. As if you're not familiar, our high school has a great capacity for having live media, so you're going to actually get a chance, if you come and participate, to be interviewed and to be part of a man-on-the-street broadcast that will be going on throughout that time. So again, I just want to reiterate, it's really important that you come. Whether you have kids in our district or not, we want you to not only come, but to invite some of your neighbors or some of the people who you see who work in our community, so they can see what our children are accomplishing, and even more than that, what our teachers, what our supervisors in district under Mr. Cito's leadership, what they're all accomplishing. So again, please, on March 9th, set aside time from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. to come to Franklin High School and to support the schools and to support our children. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Presley. Oh, no, sorry. I thought you were walking towards the microphone. Yes. As well, you're coming up. I'll just say I have 2 children in the Franklin school system. Obviously, I could choose elsewhere, but I don't, because I have ultimate confidence in our system and the people. Administration board and education is extremely important to me. So thank you, and I vote for all of you with my driving and bus routes to the school.
Hi.
For me.
Yeah. My name is Susan Goldie. I live at 281 Abbey Drive. I bet you can finish this sentence. I'm here tonight to talk to you about the Franklin Inn. Okay. And being a teacher, and since Mr. Vornlacher came to this party a little later than the rest of us, I feel this need to lecture a little bit about the Franklin Inn, because she's not just another historic building in Franklin Township. She's a grand old lady who has fallen on hard times. She has the bones of a Dutch-American farmhouse, and she has a documented history of participation in the American Revolution. And when the DNR Canal opened, she reinvented herself as an inn for the canal trade. Now, Mr. Vornlock, I have a little present for you. It's some pictures of the inn, the way she used to be on the inside. Now, why don't you
Was in it.
Pardon me?
Was in it when it was there.
Well, I want you to hang that in your office, so that you
There's
can
already a picture of it on my wall in my office.
Well, now you have an interior shot.
Okay.
And it will remind you of the importance and the potential of this great building that is on a gateway road into the township of Franklin. It's time for people in the decision-making positions to meet with Mr. Anka, the owner of the inn, and a representative of Mazer & Mazer, the licensed site remediation specialist that's assigned to the Anka property. You, Mr. Vornlocker, need to plead the cause of the Franklin Inn and convince Mazer & Mazer, meaning the DEP, that every conceivable effort must be made to save this building in situ. It's time to carve out a lot, have some borings done, and if necessary, decide how to remediate the land just around the inn. I hope you can do this soon. The building has been unoccupied for several years, and the deterioration is becoming obvious. Mr. Anka is willing to negotiate, and I think it's time to call people to the table. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else wish to speak? Mr. Tibbs? Oh, and then after him, go ahead. Or, he's a gentleman, ladies first. There you go, okay.
Thank you. Alicia Sashow, 15 Russet Road in Somerset. And I hate to be a downer to this whole
we'd
event.
like to hear what's
I'm actually here to find out information about starting a community watch program in our neighborhood. Our neighborhood has seen an increased number of robberies, one occurring right at the home directly next to mine. I've sent an email, I've called and left a voicemail message, haven't gotten a response yet. So I just didn't know if that was the correct avenue to follow, or if I called the general police number, the helpline, and then I got your
Okay. At this point, if you give your name and exchange with our manager, Mr. Vornlocker, right there, he'll be right with you.
For others who are interested in their communities, Mr. Mayor, sorry.
Yeah, no, certainly. Councilman Kramer, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For others who are interested in their communities and having watches like that, a number of months ago, Phil Rizzo gave a presentation here, and he's the man to contact. Phil Rizzo, Sergeant. He's Sergeant. Has he gotten a little higher yet, or no, still Sergeant?
Councilman, I gave her my card, and I was going to put her in touch with Sergeant Phil Rizzo.
Sergeant
yes,
Phil Rizzo.
Sergeant
well, he
Phil
should
Rizzo.
be Lieutenant.
Give him time.
But I'm just saying for other people, call the police number and ask for Sergeant Phil Rizzo if you're interested in those kinds of watches.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Tibbs.
Change the agenda. Just a couple of things. Johnny Tibbs, 25 Parkside, apartment 322, Somerset, New Jersey. Just a couple of things. First, let me thank all the participants in this Black History celebration. I'm honored to be present at the unveiling of a gentleman I highly respect and worked very hard for, and I hope to emulate the rest of my life. So, that's to President Obama. Say a couple of things I wanted to say. I forget, Rajiv, where the gentleman from the bank had said about Gandhi, that parable that he had said, but I totally believe in that, and that's the way I hope I live my life, the same way. When the people here from Cito and them were here from the high school, and I wish they were still here now, because with all this modern technology and and modern technology, modern lingo and so forth in terms of teaching kids higher education, that's fine. It's absolutely fine. I think everybody wants the same thing, as long as you don't leave no kids behind. And that's the most important thing that I'm trying to teach all the kids that's in the high school that's very intelligent, is that they don't want to leave any kids behind. And I often hear the conversations from your educators, and I never get the compassion that's necessary to teach kids in this community. Now, today I lost one. One of the kids that was a part of the program that the high school cut. What's the name of it, Kimberly?
The GREAT program. Great Expectations.
Great Expectations. It was a program for the at-risk kids. And it filtered down to some of the, I'm going to put it, my kids, which never be able to take advantage of some of the programs that FYI have, but we're trying to filter down to those particular kids. Now, he was one of the boys that was in that particular program. That program was cut by Mr. Cito and the rest of the Board of Education. And I want them to hear me now before they left already, to hear that. Now, he got locked up today, and he'll be gone for 6 months in a juvenile detention center. And I've been, for the past summer, I've been with most of the boys, working with them, mentoring, giving them a little money or something to keep in their pockets so they don't have to be accused of robbing anybody. But, you know, as time goes on, we haven't had the center yet, and I lost him. But hopefully that he'll be back and I can remain to keep the rest of them. Ms. Mitchell here was about to present the community grants presentation and so forth. And I want you guys to understand two particular things. And I'm going to leave. One, that I'm still running the community gardens, and there is a budget that I'm going to submit to that community grant. I think it's the $5,000 or something to run the community garden program. And I hope I have you guys support once that thing is submitted to her. Secondly, I think Councilman Sherman, you had asked last night, what do we really need? What do we really need? And it's not just me, Johnny Tibbs. It's what we really need down there so I don't lose no more kids. We need a community center. We need that building at 429 Lewis Street. And we're working real hard, not myself this time, just some other people in the community. It's working very hard, and with your support, we will be able to have a building before the end of this year out. Whatever means that Councilman Brian Levine and anybody else, that's all I'm asking for, is for us to have that building. If we have to condemn it or eminent domain or whatever we have to do. But I hope you guys, that way we'll save some more kids down in the neighborhood which do not reach the FYI. Councilman Kramer, I'm begging of you, hopefully that this year you will plan within the recreation department to have our kids to be able to use their own pool in the Parkside area. Whatever budgetary restraints, I hope you will lift them so the kids can get in their own pool for this summer. I appreciate it very much. I understand that you're on that particular budgetary committee, and we are looking forward for your assistance, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Other members who haven't spoken would like to speak? Anyone?
Mr. Mayor, seeing no one else come forward, I move that we close this portion of the public discussion.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstained, motion is carried. Okay, thank you very much. We appreciate the input. We now go back to the agenda, and we're at item number 7. Fiscal year 2013 Community Development Block Grant Program, overview of the fiscal year 2013 program. Ms. Deborah Mitchell, we appreciate your patience. Afterwards, Ms. Mitchell is going to give us an overview of the program, and then afterwards, we're going to have a public hearing that's not going to be on any particular programs, and you're not going to be going over any particular programs, just the overall items. And the community development block grants, they're monies that come to the towns if Towns are under 50,000 in population. Generally, the money goes to the county. We exceed 50,000, so it comes to us as a municipality in Franklin Township directly. And I guess today we'll set the 2013 schedule. Is that what we're
Yes.
doing? Okay. No vote's going to happen. We're just going to
No.
set that.
No.
So, Ms. Mitchell, pleasure to
Good
have
evening.
you.
Thank you. As you stated, Mayor, Franklin Township is an eligible community for an eligible entitlement community. We receive funding from the Community Development Block Grant Program from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. Last year, we received $234,411. However, we have not been notified this year as to our exact funding amount for 2013. That is due to the fact that the federal budget has yet to be set. However, we are here tonight to open the process of accepting grant applications for 2013. Those activities that are funded with the block grant funds must meet one of three national objectives. It must benefit low and moderate income persons, it must aid in the prevention or elimination of slum and blight, or it must meet an urgent need. The township here allocates its block grant funding primarily to assist owner-occupied housing rehabilitation for low and moderate income families. We also allocate 20% of the grant to public facilities projects and 15% to the provision of public services for low and moderate income families. Eligible applicants for the grant must be a recognized New Jersey nonprofit, and it must have a current 501c3 status. Applications are available here tonight at the township, and they're also available at the township clerk's office. Notice has been posted on the township website, and all applications are due by March 12th, 2013. An additional public hearing will be conducted on March 28th for all the applicants. At that time, they'll be able to present their projects to council for consideration. The full schedule will require that we develop an action plan based on the items that are funded, and that action plan will be presented to council on June 25th, 2013, and the action plan should be prepared and ready for your approval by July 15th, 2013. Our program year runs from September 1st, 2013 to August 31st, 2014. So any projects that are presented to you for consideration must be able to begin and complete within the grant year. We also note that anyone that wishes to comment on the Community Development Block Grant Program is free to contact me at the township. My email address is posted on the website. I'm always here on Fridays and available by phone whenever you need me. If anyone should have any questions, they can find me here at the township. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So now we're at item 7-2, which is the public hearing. Is there a motion to open the meeting for public hearing on the 2013 Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, program year?
So, seconded.
Okay, moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion is carried. Meeting is open for public hearing on the 2011 CDBG program year. Anyone interested in speaking, please raise your hand. Mr. Tibbs, sure.
This is only for the CD.
Yeah, it's regarding the CDBG, right?
What he wants is
Yeah,
probably for
like the
this year,
gardens, the gardens.
not next year, and probably not eligible. We're going to ask anyway.
Mr. Tibbs, if you have a question, could you come to the mic and pose it? Thank you.
I may turn to her for the answer, just
Okay.
as a foreshadow.
No, I was just wondering,
Yes, sir.
at the fiscal years, when they start and end. Now, they're getting ready to start planning now, and I'm wondering if I could submit the proposal to her now in order to have the funds for the senior citizens for this year. No.
Okay.
I missed it already? But Ted, there are some left though, right?
You know,
It's such
Yeah.
a long process.
Yeah, Ms. Mitchell, would Mr. Tibbs be able to come speak to you at some point and
Yeah.
understand the process more fully?
Surely.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you for that, though. Anyone else on Community Development Block Grant?
Mr. Mayor, should someone come forward and make a motion that we close,
Okay, close. public-
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion is carried. Do you have to do anything with the formal schedule, or we're okay?
No.
We're okay, right?
We're fine. No, that was all that needed to be done today. was
Okay.
the, introduction.
Thank
Public.
you. Okay. So, now we come to number 8 on the agenda, Mayor's Report. We had a lot going on, and it's a little later, so anything I have to say, I will save until next meeting. So then we go to item number 9, Deputy Mayor's Report. So Deputy Mayor Rosalind Sherman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have 2 items. I'm sorry our police chief has left. I saw this in the newspaper. I just wanted to make the folks in the township aware of it. But our police department is seeking accreditation. It's a long and arduous program. And they are supposed to be a group of assessors from the New Jersey State Association of Chiefs of Police coming here on February 17th to examine all the aspects of the police department's policies and procedures. And I offer my compliments to our police chief, Larry Roberts, for pursuing that program. It will be a great feather in the cap of Franklin to have our police department accredited. So thank you to the chief and all of the police members involved in that. The other item I would like to discuss is the electronic billboard issue that we discussed in length at our last meeting, at which time the council voted to appeal the decision that was rendered by the judge that heard our case. Well, a recent, almost, I guess, today, or a decision came down in which a decision that was made by a judge has been reversed. So I want to commend our counsel for sensing the unfairness of the decision that was made because things change. One never knows where it can go, and you have to stand up for what you believe in. It is more complicated than I was able to discern from reading the decision, so I would ask that our attorney, Lou Ranone, please provide us with an overview of what this decision has said and what it means.
Okay, Mr. Ranone, our township attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At the time that we filed the appeal from the Superior Court decision regarding the digital billboard, we were aware that there had been a challenge that was proceeding through the federal court arising out of an ordinance passed in Mount Laurel, which actually banned all billboards, or all additional billboards in Mount Laurel. Mount Laurel had actually been successful in the district court, which is the federal trial level court, in sustaining their ordinance. But now, of some note, is the fact that the Third Circuit Court of Appeals, which is not the highest federal court, which is the Supreme Court, but the next highest federal court, and certainly a controlling jurisdiction with regards to things like the interpretation of the federal Constitution, has ruled that Mount Laurel's ordinance, which completely bans billboards, is sustainable and is valid. And the reason cited for that ordinance by the council in Mount Laurel was 2 reasons. One is to protect the aesthetics of the town, and the second is the issues of traffic safety. And as everybody who has went to the trial, has heard my briefs on this, has read the newspaper articles, they know that those are exactly the 2 reasons that we used in our trial, and that we'll use on appeal. So it's just a significant decision with regards to the law it appears to be somewhat of a change of the law in New Jersey. It is the first Circuit Court of Appeals case that recognizes the fact that billboards are inherently distractions, that councils and mayors in adopting ordinances do not have to conduct independent studies to prove that they are unsafe, that they accepted into the record a series of published studies, much like we did at the trial level here, and that the court found that that was sufficient. So we're kind of encouraged by what we think is the direction of the law, and certainly, I suggest that everybody on the council take a look at it. It's a very well-written and reasoned opinion. I would suggest you all read, if you read nothing else, you read the last paragraph, which essentially said that a profit motive in building a billboard is not enough to get you constitutional protection. It's an interesting decision.
Yes.
Which is actually a point, as I recall during the trial, you brought up.
Yes.
So I'm very proud of the council for standing for the Franklin Township residents, and let's hope we'll see some very positive results of this new opinion. So thank you for bringing that to our attention and for your very clear explanation.
You're welcome.
That's everything. Thank you, Mr.
Okay, thank you. So next would come item number 10, public discussion, but we did that already. So now we come to item number 11, standing committee reports. If anyone doesn't have a report, we can wait till next time.
Just do council comments together with that?
Let's see, I'm looking at my agenda. I've got council comments after the standing committee reports. All right, so I'll go to the first one, 11A, administration. Anyone want to?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Deputy Mayor Roz Sherman.
Thank you. As a member of that committee, I will provide some overview of what we discussed. There is a new security system being installed at the municipal building. It's already in place. There are many cameras that are already operational. There have been cards that have been issued to all employees, council members, that we can swipe to get in and out of the building. I believe it gives a record of movements of people. So it's also on certain office doors. In order to get in, you have to have authority to be allowed into those particular areas. So I think it's going to be a very important and necessary program for Franklin Township, and I commend the manager for moving ahead with that. I also wanted to make mention of another program that is also being initiated. Again, technology is working with us and helping us. There are so many things that come up at meetings, that come up at council meetings, as well as at the various committee meetings. Sometimes it's very hard to keep track of what was discussed and what was decided upon as being the items for action. Well, with the help of our IT department, and working with the manager, there is a task management program that will be implemented shortly that will allow us to keep track of projects that have been initiated to make sure they don't fall between the cracks, which is likely to happen when you have so much going on. So now we will have a record, and we will be in a position to keep track of everything, all the great ideas that we come up with. And last but not least, there were other items, but the only one that I wanted to report on was that our manager is suggesting training for employees, which is a wonderful thing, customer service training in particular. All of our residents are our customers, and we want to make sure that they are receiving the highest level of service, and with a smile and with, good intentions by the people in our township. We work for you, and we want to make sure that you are being well treated. So I again commend our manager for bringing that training to the township. And that's the report for the administrative committee.
Okay. Thank you. So next we have 11B, Financial Oversight Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Is that a political comment? An opinion? Are you all right?
You need that.
Are you all right?
Yes. Wait till we hear the report. Thanks.
I joke when Phil speaks.
Thanks.
Is there a doctor in the house?
After a few decades of,
Is there a doctor in the house?
after half a century of life, you'd figure I'd remember which pipe he'd used on which occasion.
I think he's
Councilman
going to make
Kramer.
it. I think we can proceed.
All right, I will.
If not, I'm here to take over.
Fair.
There's some heart. Okay. Financial oversight. So most of what we've been doing lately is interviewing or going over with department heads, their individual line items on the budget. And that will be discussed in great detail when we do the budget items. We also have been discussing our local ethics board, and I have to tiptoe around this because some of it was discussed in executive session, and some of it is discussed in financial oversight. So just to kind of brief everyone, there is a local finance board, which the word local is a misnomer. It really is a state agency that deals with the local finances local to the municipalities. They also are a statewide ethics board. Municipalities since 1992 have had the privilege or opportunity to have their own local ethics board, and Franklin did that, and relatively few towns in the state do that. Until 2010, apparently they had never spent any money, but they then had cases where they felt they needed to spend money, they needed to hire a lawyer, and we gave them a budget to do that, and the budget was not to exceed $15,000. I think it is a public record that this year the attorney's fees came to $19,000, and it was the opinion of the Financial Oversight Committee to set a precedence here and say, no, we said do not exceed, and the four of us put our foot down and said we're only going to pay $15,000. Of course, the rest of council will have to weigh in on that. But then it became a question of what the jurisdiction of the ethics board was, and do they have jurisdiction in some of the cases they had been involved in. It was the opinion of our township attorney that they did not, but at the Finance Oversight Committee last night, the chair of the Finance Board gave opinions that she had learned, and they differed, arguing that everything they did was within their jurisdiction. So we have asked the manager to ask the township attorney to discuss this with the local finance board, and so he can render an opinion on that. And that concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. And Public Safety Committee? Anyone want to? Public Safety? Oh, Councilman
We haven't had a
Fasenelli?
meeting since the last report. I think
Okay.
we're slated to have one beginning of March.
Okay, thank you. So Land Use, Open Space, Parks and Recreation.
Mr. Mayor, we haven't had a meeting. We come back on the 27th of this month for our meeting.
Okay, Councilman Wright, thank you. And the last of the standing committees, Public Works. Councilman
Mr.
Chase.
Mayor, we had a meeting last week. The principal business really was deciding on what streets to have repaved over the last year. The way it works is that really the Public Works Department supplies a list of streets that they think from observation of employees, perhaps should be repaved, with a list considerably longer than we can fund in 1 year. And then Deputy Mayor Sherman and I drove around over those streets and really divided them into yes, definitely, yes, maybe, weak maybe, and no, it doesn't need it yet categories. And so then we presented this to the township engineer, and he has worked out a final list of streets to be repaved within the annual, and this is something I trust won't go on indefinitely, $2.5 million bond funding. So another thing that we discussed was recommendations. This is done annually. The consulting engineers that we hire to deal with specialized engineering matters, especially things having to do with the water system or environmental matters, or things which for some reason can't be reviewed within our engineering department. 3 members of staff, the township engineer, the director of planning, and I forget who the third one was, reviewed these and graded them and made recommendations of 5 out of the 10 who'd applied. Happens to be the same 5 we had this last year. And so the committee approved these recommendations. Another matter we discussed, which is still some ways from any decision, but the homeowners of the Margaret Drive area who have a homeowners association that exists only because they are responsible for detention basins and open space that are part of that development. And they would like to have the township take these over, which is something the township often does with new developments. The developer pays the township a fee equivalent to 24 years' worth of maintenance, and the township is thereafter responsible for maintenance. So we hope we can work out a similar deal with the homeowners of the Margaret Drive area, but this is something that has to be reviewed by Township Council and the exact procedures by which we do this, but we're at least considering this matter. I know there was a 4th item, and I've forgotten what it was. Do you remember?
I don't, I'm sorry.
No, well, it was something very brief.
It would have been some changes to one of our ordinances being proposed by the engineering department. Related to stormwater.
The stormwater ordinance, I've heard this so many times under my various hats, I'd quite forgotten about it. And council will eventually get a presentation from Assistant Township Engineer Carl Hauk, who developed this. So I need not expand on it now. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. So now we're at item number 12, council comments. I guess we can start over here. Councilman Rajiv Prasad.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I congratulate everybody with the Black History Month and the great effort put in, and of course the portrait unveiling, especially Councilwoman Kimberly Francois for all the effort she put into it. And my comment to Mr. Tibbs would be that, I feel badly that he lost a kid to the juvenile detention center. We should try and prevent that from happening, and somehow we've got to find a way to fund a community center, whether we bond it or whatever we have to do, and something very local to the kids where they can walk to it. And it's something close to my heart, and I'd like to see that happen. We've got to put our heads together and figure that out. And the pool is the other thing. If you keep them occupied and busy, I think they'll be out of trouble. So that is, again, something we need to figure into our budgeting process. And then the community garden, I applaud him for his efforts in that. I firmly believe in homegrown. The only problem is the rabbits and deer come and eat up my my garden in the back. So now, on a more serious note, the community watch, crime is up. I went to my dry cleaners of 20 years, and yesterday he said, what did I have to do with the township? And if I had anything to do with the township, I've got to do something about the crime. And I said, what happened? And this old Korean-American gentleman who's been running this dry cleaners, Crown Quality Cleaners on the IHOP Plaza, saw somebody walk in, put a shirt on the counter. He was trying to get an account opened up for them, and the next thing he opens up a large knife and tells them to lie down on the floor, and took the $400 that was in the till and walked away. And so the police chief knows about it and is working on it. The detectives are working on it, and they think it was somebody who came in from New Brunswick. And they have a very good idea of who's been doing these kind of things, but times are tough, and I guess people are, doing this, but the crime spree has spilled over into Franklin as well. There's never been a problem in that plaza itself, and I've been living there for 35 years. So it is something we need to do something about. And I don't know if it means the merchants get together and put cameras or whatever to deter some of that crime, but we need to do something. As far as Miss Goldie's concerned, I know Franklin Inn is a treasure, but there are problems with the Anka property, and maybe if there's some way of lifting that whole building and moving it to another site, if that's a possibility, then we ought to consider that in preserving the Franklin Inn and keeping its historic nature and restoring it as an inn and keeping the history of Franklin there. So that's just some of my thoughts. Other than that, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Carl Wright.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I too would like to thank Councilwoman Ms. Kimberly Francois for the Black History Month. It was very informative, and thank you for the portrait of our president. It will hang nicely up on the wall, and I just want to give you kudos there. Also, I don't want the council to forget that I'm still working on the sidewalks and curbs. That's my baby right there. The more sidewalks, the more curbs we have, it'll make the town more beautiful. And safety is always a factor, so sidewalks and curbs. Also, the Recreation Needs Assessment Plan is going along pretty good. We have a 3-year outlay, and we're working on years 1 and 2, I believe, Councilman Kramer? Years 1 and 2, because we have to catch up, and that's still going along pretty good. So look out for tennis courts, basketball courts, new parks. It's going to happen, and we're on schedule. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Phil Kramer.
I'm waiting for you to cough. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Franklin Inn, actually, I think Ms. Goldie and the Ten Brooks have been very patient on this and very diligent on this, and they have been asking for the meeting with the Ankas, and I will task our manager, if you can get back to me, perhaps I'm requesting, please, by the end of the week to have some meeting date available.
I will certainly make every effort tomorrow to contact the Ankas. I can't make you a promise if they don't answer.
That's more than fair.
Very
It's
good.
more than fair, thank you. Congratulations to the police force on the accreditation issue. Should also note that will save the township money. The insurance for the town drops, or the insurance costs for the town drops when that happens. One of the major expenses of a town often is defending in-court police actions, and our police force has a very good record with that, and the accreditation will document that nicely, and will let us officially be able to take credit for that. On a personal note, many people know my wife had a recent illness, and I would just like to thank the first responders that helped her in what was a life-threatening situation, and that meant a great deal to me. Also, the well wishes from council, the support from my fellow council people, those who sent flowers and those who sent their other well wishes, I very much appreciate it, as does she. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Ted Chase.
I wasn't going to say anything, but I actually want to support a lot of the things that Councilman Prasad said. In particular, I hope that we can have the pool in Naaman Williams Park open for the community a lot this summer. It's in an area where typically people don't have their own pools. We have a pool, we should have it used as much as possible. And I'm willing to sit down, and not being on the Finance Committee, I don't see the budget in as much detail as they do. But if we have to find something else to take out, I'll try to find it, because I think it's really important to have that pool open. The community garden, by the way, it has fences around it that I think will keep out the deer and the rabbits. Really, the person who's carried the ball on that primarily is John Walker, although he lives in Franklin Park, and he is really the one that got the fences put in and the garden built, and most recently at the end of last summer, with the help of the Public Works Department, got a water line extended to it with CDBG grant money that was originally intended for the Pine Manor School Garden. Our problem at the Pine Manor School Garden is we don't have anybody like either John Walker or Johnny Tibbs to take charge of the garden and, direct who gets what plots and generally keep it organized, because Eugene Unger started that garden and then he has left the town. We even have a potential space for another garden, the corner of Martin and Lewis Streets, but the Environmental Commission doesn't want to go ahead with that until we have a commitment from somebody to really supervise and carry the ball on that garden, and then we might apply for CDBG grant money to start a garden there. I think those are the main things I intended to say. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman James Vasanella.
Excuse me. Thank you, Mayor. Just wanted to thank all students and adults who came out tonight, and everyone that was here, especially those involved with the Franklin Youth Initiative. It was a wonderful presentation. Thank you, Councilwoman Francois, for putting it together. As far as I know, everything went pretty smooth, considering we had a snowstorm. It didn't come in as bad as we at first anticipated it might, but at least My neighborhood, my ward, I haven't heard anything about any problems with the snow removal, and everything seems to have gone pretty well, thank God, and I don't think there was any major accidents. I'm hearing we were a few hours ahead of schedule.
We were. We had anticipated plowing from 9 PM to 9 AM through this, I'm sorry, 9 PM to the following noon, and all the plow trucks were completed with their routes by 9 AM on Saturday morning. So we were a little ahead of schedule. And so we were able to get the crews off the road a couple hours before, which saves a couple dollars.
Thank you for the details, Manager Vornlacher. And there may be an isolated situation where something didn't get plowed exactly right, but what I understand, things went very well, and if they did, of course, you can always inform manager or a council member. As the snow starts to melt, and whether we get any more or not, people may notice more potholes that develop, which is sometimes a result of the weather changes and the cold weather we had a few weeks ago, and the snow and precipitation and whatnot. So I wasn't sure if we do it all year. I just checked and was confirmed that we do fill potholes all year. Of course, it's more practical and sometimes in the warmer months, but we do have the machinery and manpower. So if you do see something, you should or are welcome to email our manager or any council person, your ward representative, or any one of us, but the manager will take the emails himself and appropriately get the right personnel on that, because you will see more, and I'm actually encouraging you out there to do that, because they will pile up, and not just that, sometimes they can form some pretty big craters and create a little bit of a dangerous situation, if not for people, for your car. So be careful with that, and please let us know. We are ready to fill them and will as we find out. That's pretty much it. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilwoman Kimberly Francois.
Yeah, I just would like to thank all of the students and parents that came out from the community, as well as the entities, the boards, the commissions, the advisory groups, the agencies, all the community leaders, all of our community partners or members of the Board of Education, and most importantly, I'd like to thank my council colleagues for supporting me in that Black History Month event. I think that it would not have been possible if you all didn't stand behind me and support me in having this activity and being a part of that. So I want to thank you all for that. And that's all I have to say, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Rosalind Sherman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Again, kudos to Councilwoman Francois and all of the participants of tonight's events, but there's been one person that I would like to recognize separately and personally for this program tonight, and that's Councilman Rajiv Prasad. He's been very generous. I don't know, he must be an art collector or something, or supports the arts, but he has been the person who has financed the picture of John Kennedy, is that correct?
Right.
And he also did it tonight, and Ben Franklin, and tonight it was his financial support for the portrait of President Obama. So thank you for your generosity to our...
I'll pay you for it.
Pardon?
It's Ben Franklin's all over the town.
I'm sorry?
I'm sorry, I paid for that. That was my donation.
But he said that he was going to repay you. You've charged it, and he was going to pay you back for that. That was my impression.
That was the understanding.
Oh, you're going to pay me back
Yeah.
for it? Oh.
See, you didn't even know that.
I didn't even know that.
Yes.
Oh, no, he told me that he was going to pay me back for Martin Luther King, not for Obama. He said if I get Martin Luther King then he'll pay me for Martin
We'll
Luther
work
King.
this out.
I have an Andrew Jackson.
I'll take some donations.
And a Lincoln.
Anyway, somebody's paying for that portrait. Okay.
If we can hire a financial consultant to work that
Yes.
detail.
I want to make the public and the council aware of another program. Again, the Franklin Township Township Cultural Arts Council has many programs going on this year for the Emancipation Proclamation. And the next one is Wednesday, the 20th of February at the library. Pam and Charlie Horner will be presenting their program on spirituals and the effects on the the folks in slavery, as well as where it has progressed since and the history of it. So it's a wonderful presentation. You do need to reserve your seat, so please contact the library about that. I also attended a very fine event at Rutgers Prep by the Chamber of Commerce. If you are not aware, Franklin has a very active Chamber of Commerce, and if there are any business people watching, I would strongly recommend that you reach out and become members. And last but not least, Manager Bornlocker and I had the pleasure today of touring a very, very dynamic company here in Franklin Township. It's PIM, which is Promotion in Motion, which doesn't tell you a darn thing about what they do. They make candy. They manufacture Welch's soft, chewy candies, as well as packaged for M&Ms. They are growing by leaps and bounds. We are very, very fortunate to have them here in Franklin Township. But the part that really excites me, they are putting up a walkway around their manufacturing facility that will be open to the public. And then they are, the owner of PIM happens to be a collector of candy memorabilia. So he is going to set up a museum for that, and then have a store where you can buy their products. Other companies that have done this have had an enormous number of people who come to take that tour. One of the companies they talked about brings in 300,000 people a year for their particular tour, and they're looking at a number of 100,000 at this point, and hopefully it will grow beyond that. So it's a tremendous economic engine for Franklin Township. So we're very proud of PIM, and we're very happy to have them as members of our business community here in Franklin. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. And now, it's my time for council comments. Most of what I had to say, I said at other points during the meeting, so I'll have nothing further at this point. I'll just have us go on. So, we are now at item number 14 on the, number 13 on the agenda, council discussion items, of which we do not have any. And so, we go to item number 14, approval of minutes. There are no minutes submitted for this meeting. So we go on again to 15, approval of warrants. Warrants are the bills that we pay. Warrants in the amount of $17,053,461.55 on February 12th, 2013, are presented to the Township Council for payment. Is there a motion to pay the warrants as read?
So moved. Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Ms. McCarthy, please poll the council on approval of the warrants.
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Kramer?
Yes.
Mayor Levine?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sherman?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella? Councilman Wright?
Yes.
Okay. Motion is carried. We now come to item number 16, public hearing and adoption of ordinances on second reading. For an ordinance to go into law, generally it's voted on twice. Once it's voted on to introduce, then usually the next meeting or two after that, we vote on it a second time. If it passes the second time, it goes into law shortly thereafter. And at that second vote, we have a public hearing, meaning anyone can come and speak on that particular ordinance. So we have 3 ordinances
Let's see.
for which we have public hearings today. The first is item 16A, 4002-13. It's a refunding bond ordinance. authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $8 million aggregate principal amount of open space trust fund refunding bonds, Series 2013, by the Township of Franklin in the County of Somerset, State of New Jersey, known as the Township, for the purpose of refunding certain bonds heretofore issued by the Township, appropriating the proceeds of such refunding bonds to such purpose. This is some of our open space bonds. We are refinancing them so we can get a better rate. The Township Attorney has approved the affidavit of publication. A public hearing is in order. Motion to open the meeting for a public hearing on this ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion is carried. Meeting is open for a public hearing on this particular ordinance.
Mr. Mayor, seeing no one come forward, I make a motion we close public hearing.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion is carried. Thank you. Is there motion for final passage of the ordinance and publication in accordance with law?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Madam Clerk, please poll the council on item 16A, ordinance 4002-13, please.
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Kramer?
Yes.
Mayor Levine?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sherman?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
Okay, motion is carried. We now have item 16B on the agenda, ordinance 4003-13. It's an ordinance of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey, authorizing the acceptance of conservation easement and deed of dedication from Vico Process Equipment, Inc. to Township of Franklin for premises known as Block 528.05, Lot 19.29, and Block 528.05, Lot 19.32. Formerly, it was Block 528.05, Lots 19.19 and 19.25. This is an expansion for Vico Process Equipment. We're glad to have them in town, and it's kind of a standard conservation easement. The Township Attorney has approved the affidavit of publication. Publication is in order. Is there a motion to open the meeting for public hearing on this ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion is carried. Meeting is open for public hearing on this ordinance. Anyone interested in speaking, please raise your hand.
Mr. Mayor, seeing no one come forward, I make a motion we close public session.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion is carried. Thank you very much. Is there a motion for final passage of the ordinance and publication in accordance with law?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Ms. McCarthy, please poll the council on item 16C, ordinance 4004-13, please.
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Kramer?
Yes.
Mayor Levine?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sherman?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
Okay, motion is carried. That is the second of the ordinance hearings. Now is the third and final one. It's item 16C on the agenda, ordinance 4004-13, an ordinance of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey, authorizing the acceptance of conservation easement from L'Oreal USA Products, Inc. to Township of Franklin for premises known as Block 86.01, Lot 10.30, and Block 86.03, Lot 10.32. This is so on L'Oreal's property, they can set up a solar farm, and again, a standard conservation easement. The Township Attorney has approved the affidavit of publication. A public hearing is in order. Motion for public hearing on this ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion is carried. Meeting is open for public hearing on this particular ordinance. Anyone interested in speaking, please raise your hand.
Mr. Mayor, seeing no one raising their hand, I move we close the public session.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion is carried. Public hearing is closed for this ordinance. Thank you. Is there a motion for final passage of the ordinance and publication in accordance with law?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Madam Clerk, please poll the council on item 16C, ordinance 4004-13, please.
Councilman Chase.
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois.
Yes.
Councilman Kramer.
Yes.
Mayor Levine.
Yes.
Councilman Prasad.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sherman.
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella.
Yes.
Councilman Wright.
Yes.
Okay, motion is carried. So that is the end of our ordinance hearings. We now have 8 ordinance introductions.
Excuse me, Mayor.
pardon me.
There's a resolution that was added that's before the ordinance.
Oops.
We need to adopt that in connection with the bond ordinance.
Oh, there it is. Number 17, a resolution, vote on separately.
Correct.
Okay. I'm sorry, pardon me. Okay. Give me one moment for my consultation with the attorney.
But you can vote here.
Okay. But you understood, right? So you got it right.
Let's go to my business.
Hey, listen. She's a master.
Okay, thank you, and Ms. McCarthy, thanks for pointing that out to me.
Implement this.
So it's now item 17. Resolutions vote on separately. It's Resolution 13-110. Resolution providing for the issuance and sale of not to exceed $8 million aggregate principal amount of open space trust fund refunding bonds, called the refunding bonds, of the Township of Franklin in the County of Somerset, State of New Jersey, known as the Township, authorized by a refunding bond ordinance heretofore finally adopted by the Township Council of the Township on February 12th, 2013, that was a little earlier in the evening, to refund certain bonds of the Township and providing for the form and other details with respect to the sale and issuance of said refunding bonds. Okay, so we did authorize the refunding bonds. This is a resolution to actually issue the notes. I present this resolution for consideration. Is there a motion for the resolution?
So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Ms. McCarthy, please poll the council on item 17, resolution 13-110, please.
Councilman Chase.
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois.
Yes.
Councilman Kramer.
Yes.
Mayor Levine.
Yes.
Councilman Prasad.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sherman.
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella.
Yes.
Councilman Wright.
Yes.
Okay,
Ms.
motion is carried. Councilman Kramer?
I don't recall you pointing out that the whole purpose of that exercise was to refinance our bonds at a lower rate, thus saving money.
Okay, thank you. Key of, last 2 words, saving money. Thank you for that. And now we have, I'll try this again, 8 ordinance introductions. Okay? The first one of which is 18A or 18-1, whichever I'm looking at, 18-1, ordinance number 4005-13. An ordinance to amend the code of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey, more particularly Chapter 384 Water, Section 384.199 Curb Connection Capital Fee for calendar year 2013. This calculates our curb connection fee for new development. It's a standard formula which has been verified by our financial people, and I think we actually come in below this usually anyway, don't we?
Below what?
The actual calculated amount?
No.
Oh, well.
They're set fees, right?
Okay.
By state law and decision law, these curb connection fees are essentially a calculation of what the embedded cost is that's invested in the system, so that when somebody connects new into the system, they essentially are reimbursing the ratepayers who have already paid for it for that cost. So it is literally a mathematical formula that's based upon the embedded cost of the system.
Okay. All right, thank you. The foregoing ordinance is presented to the Township Council for adoption on first reading. posting, publication, in accordance with law, and public hearing and final adoption on Tuesday, February 26, 2013, at 7 o'clock p.m. here at the Municipal Complex. Is there a motion to introduce?
So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Ms. McCarthy, please poll the council on item 18A, ordinance 4005-13, please.
Councilman Chase.
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois.
Yes.
Councilman Kramer.
Yep.
Mayor Levine.
Yes.
Councilman Prasad.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sherman.
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella.
Yes.
Councilman Wright.
Okay, motion is carried. I guess I should have called it 18-1, actually. Okay. So 18-2, ordinance 4006.1-13, an ordinance amending the code of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey, more particularly, Chapter 354, Telecommunication Services, Appendix Chapter A, 404, Zayo Group LLC. There are fiber optics running on our utility pole, and this grants them a right-of-way to do that. The foregoing ordinance is presented to the Township Council for adoption on first reading, posting, publication in accordance with law, and public hearing and final adoption on Tuesday, February 26, 2013, at 7 o'clock p.m. here at the Municipal Complex. Is there a motion to introduce?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Ms. McCarthy, please poll the council on item 18-2, ordinance 4006-13, please.
Councilman Chase.
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois.
Yes.
Councilman Kramer.
Yes.
Mayor Levine.
Yes.
Councilman Prasad.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sherman.
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella.
Yes.
Councilman Wright.
Here, yes.
Okay, motion is carried. We now come to 18-3, ordinance 4007.13. And these next several ordinances, the last 6, are basically development ordinances. 18-3, ordinance 4007-13, an ordinance amending the code of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey. More particularly, Chapter 112, development regarding the zoning of the Trap Rock Quarry area. It deals with Trap Rock Quarry. We actually saw a presentation a meeting or two ago about this, and it basically prohibits mining near their office, which is near a residential area, but certainly they do all their mining for the most part. Councilman Chase.
I just wanted to explain further, this is in response to the comments of Mr. Kanarek on the previous version of the ordinance, so that the area of the administration building is not added to the mining zone, so that there is, but instead is added to the RR5 zone, so that there's no possibility of its being mined, but there's also a provision allowing the continuance of what they do there now. It's essentially their operational headquarters with their vehicles and storage of some necessary materials and so forth. So it should satisfy Mr. Kanarek's objections.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. The foregoing ordinance is presented to the Township Council for adoption on first reading, posting, publication in accordance with law, and public hearing, and final adoption on Tuesday, March 26, 2013, at 7 o'clock p.m. here at the Municipal Complex. Is there a motion to introduce?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Madam Clerk, please pull the council on item 18C, ordinance 4007-13, please.
Councilman Chase.
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois.
Yes.
Councilman Kramer.
Yep.
Mayor Levine.
Yes.
Councilman Prasad.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sherman.
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella.
Yes.
Councilman Wright.
Yes.
Okay, motion is carried. We now come to item 18D on the agenda, ordinance number 4008-13, an ordinance amending the code of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey, more particularly Chapter 112, development to provide better control of the shape of one- and two-family residential lots, This is basically standardizing building lot shapes, and on all of these rest, I dare say Councilman Chase has a good handle on any of it if there are questions. I believe there was a kind of an L-shaped lot, which would have been like 9 feet wide in an L shape, so this kind of complies to make everyone comply to make it kind of standard. Did I have that okay?
Well, there was a subdivision proposal to the planning board, which would create a lot which actually met all of the requirements for frontage and area, but was of such a shape that the building envelope within it, the way you could build without needing a variance for encroaching on the front yard or the side yard, the building envelope would have been 9 to 15 feet wide. Yet we had to approve it because we had nothing in the ordinance that would allow us to not approve it. Now, this is an ordinance which provides essentially that there has to be a viable building envelope within a lot that is being created. It has no effect on any existing lots. It is only directed at all future subdivisions. I think the supporting material, there's even a plot showing the lot that set this in motion.
Okay, thank you. And of course, there's a map of that with our ordinance. The foregoing ordinance is presented to the Township Council for adoption on first reading, posting publication in accordance with law, and public hearing and final adoption on Tuesday, March 26, 2013, at 7 o'clock p.m. here at the Municipal Complex. Is there a motion to introduce?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Ms. McCarthy, please poll the council on item 18D, ordinance 4008-13, please.
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Kramer? Mayor Levine?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad? Deputy Mayor Sherman?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
Okay, motion is carried. Next, we have item 18E, ordinance number 4009-13, an ordinance amending the code of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey, more particularly Chapter 112, Development, Article 11, Off-Street Parking and Loading, to incorporate recommendations of the Township Engineering Department. This is a development ordinance which standardizes grading of driveways, off-site parking issues, and certain items that go towards striping in parking facilities, parking lots. The foregoing ordinance is presented to the Township Council for adoption on first reading, posting, publication in accordance with law, and public hearing and final adoption on Tuesday, March 26, 2013, at 7 o'clock p.m. here at the Municipal Complex. Is there a motion to introduce?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Madam Clerk, please poll the council on item 18E, ordinance 4009-13, please.
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Kramer?
Yes.
Mayor Levine?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad? Deputy Mayor Sherman?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
Okay, motion is carried. We next have item 18F on the agenda, ordinance number 4010-13, an ordinance amending the code of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey, more particularly Chapter 112, Development, to provide updated definitions, fees, and escrow deposits for certain land development applications, and to clarify certain procedures related to wireless telecommunication facilities. What this does is give some definitions for rooming houses, isolated lots, and it increases some fees on planning-related issues so that the fees will adequately, and let me just say, so the fees will cover the cost of our staff time. The foregoing ordinance is presented to the Township Council for adoption on first reading, posting, Publication in accordance with law and public hearing and final adoption on Tuesday, March 26th, 2013, at 7 o'clock p.m. here at the Municipal Complex. Is there a motion to introduce?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Okay. Oh, all right. Thanks. I was just getting clarification from our attorney on a particular issue, so thanks for indulging me.
You're welcome.
Madam Clerk, the public hearing on this is on for the 26th
It
of
should be the
February?
20 No, they should be March 28th, and they probably say March 26th.
Okay, so it's not February 26th.
Correct.
How about C, D, and E? Did I do those wrong?
From the trap park, all the land development ones should be March 28th, not March 26th.
Well, Mayor, the record, we can just read, the record should just reflect that.
Is that okay?
Correct. They're not, that's not technically in the title of the ordinance, so as long as the record reflects that, that's the public hearing date.
Okay.
Mayor, we just want to
Councilman Vasanella?
just specify the ordinances.
Okay, so the ordinances which we've done so far are 18CDE, which is 4007-13, 4008-13, 4009-13, and, okay, Madam Clerk, on 14F, I moved and seconded, that's correct? Well, I didn't, but you
Yes.
did that, now we're ready for a vote?
Yes.
Okay.
Just
Councilman Chase.
on that subject, Councilman Regan expressed some concern that the 28th is Holy Thursday. I think we'd moved the council meeting from the 26th to the 28th because the 26th was Passover.
Correct.
And then Councilman Regan remarked that the 28th was Holy Thursday.
Oh. I wasn't aware of that. And thank you for bringing up Councilman Chase. Was there a suggestion of trying to schedule it on some other day, or it just wanted to be noted that it was
There
Holy
was a
Thursday?
suggestion, I'm trying to remember.
I think it was the Wednesday before, or I didn't bring my calendar with me, but.
Not to confuse things, but is there a reason that if Tuesday and Thursday are somewhat significant days for certain religions, that Wednesday would not be appropriate, or is that what it conferred with, conflicted with the planning board?
We have
Okay.
land use that day.
Okay, seeing that it's in the schedule, perhaps Ms. McCarthy, you could send an email, get a consensus. Is that okay, Mr. Rainone, if we do that? Not really?
Well, yes, the problem that you have now is that you just scheduled how many ordinances for the public hearing on that day?
Four. It'll
Four.
be 6 altogether.
And there'll be 6 altogether.
Okay.
So the answer
Oh, boy.
is that we would have,
To do it now, or?
well, you'd have to make some kind of decision relatively quickly, because if you're not going to have a meeting on the 28th, then we can't publish notice of a public hearing for that day. So if we're going to cancel that meeting and change it,
So how big of an impact is that on everybody else?
So we should just, try
Or
to
should
resolve
we
it
just
now.
go ahead with it? Since it's going to be administrative nightmare.
Yeah, I just feel we should be sensitive to that holiday. I appreciate what you're saying, Councilwoman, but I just feel concerned if we're making an accommodation for Passover. I feel we should make the same accommodation for Holy Thursday.
And what was the, I'm sorry, no, I agree, or at least we should try to figure it out now. Is Wednesday, what was the conflict with Wednesday?
The planning board meeting.
Planning board meeting?
No, there would be a planning board meeting only if there were a need for a separate discussion meeting, work session, and we haven't had one of those for a long time. The other thing, of course, is that the Land Use Committee meets at 6 on the fourth Wednesday.
Well, of course, the committee's here, the four council members, including yourself, Councilman Chase. So I don't want to speak for you, but if 6 to 7 was enough time, or maybe 5:30 to 7 was enough time, I'm not saying what we should do, but if Wednesday is an option, and I could work it out now.
I could do 5:30.
Can I ask another
Mr.
question
Allen?
before we get into that? We have a meeting on the 12th of March.
Yes.
Is there a reason why we can't have these, if we have these ordinances on for the 12th of March, then you don't have to decide right now when you want to have the meeting on the 28th or not, because we won't be scheduling any ordinances for that day, so gives us some flexibility. Is there a reason why we're not doing it on the 12th? Is it just that we don't want to?
I don't know if I can get them all back from the planning board, and I also have to notice.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot that they do have to go to the planning board, their
Yes.
zoning ordinances. Okay. They didn't come from the planning board?
Yeah,
They've already been through the planning board, it's just that formally they have to go back to the planning board, which means that there has to be a planning board meeting
I
at
know.
which the
I actually think.
the planning board can say that they're consistent with the master plan.
I actually think that ordinances that originate from the planning board don't have to go back to the planning board.
Okay.
But I don't want to change the process that right now, so why don't we go back to our discussion about what they were having the meeting?
So I could certainly do 5:30 for the land use, and then I think we could be done by 7. Um,
We don't know what
On
we'll be
Wednesday, the
discussing.
On Wednesday.
27th?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And then we could have the meeting on the 27th.
Is there consensus on that?
What consensus on what, Mayor? I'm sorry.
Pardon me.
27th.
It's basically suggested that the meeting is, instead of the 28th at 7 PM Thursday, it's March 27th, Wednesday at 7.
If that works for the majority, I am fine with it, Mayor, myself.
Did you want to check with Councilman Reagan first? Because he was the one who had the concern.
I don't need it.
Oh, no, it's actually.
Well, this would be accommodating him, or I didn't speak to him?
But we don't know if he's available that day. Councilman Reagan.
Councilman Francois wanted
Yeah, you
to
mean
see if we should
not
check with
available
Councilman
anyway.
Regan, but his concern was not having a Thursday, so I'd imagine this would.
I'm okay if that's what everybody wants to do.
Well, I'm sorry, let's temporarily book it for that day, and if there is an issue, we can email about it.
Okay.
Now, do I have to actually say the meeting date at this point, though, since we're doing the ordinances?
Well,
I pretty much do.
well, we have to make a decision as to when we're going to have the
Well, we're
public hearing on the ordinances, yeah.
Okay, so we do have to decide that. now.
Yeah.
Let's go with the 27th.
That's,
Do we have to vote on that, or you just need to say it?
I guess
think
it's
we'd
a
have to
change of
vote.
schedule.
Well, we're going to have to pass, that's the published schedule, so we're going to have to adopt a resolution authorizing the clerk to amend the yearly
Meeting schedule.
schedule, and we're going to have to publish it.
so moved.
Seconded.
Now, do you have some, ask Mr. Inone, do you have to have something in front of us, or can we just do that?
No, we can do a motion and it'll get reduced to writing, but it will be a resolution authorizing an amendment to the published meeting schedule, and it'll also authorize the clerk, obviously, to publish that because has to be published.
I move that, and can I also include in it that all of the ordinances we just passed saying the 28th can be amended to the 27th?
Yeah,
We have to
and
vote on those.
they're technically not amendments to the ordinance, but yes, we can also note in the record then that we're going to change the public hearing date on all of those ordinances. And what is the new date, the 27th?
Very
Yeah.
good,
Correct,
but very good point. Make sure that that's in there.
yes.
I just didn't want to have to vote on each one of those again.
Okay.
Maybe we could just have the mayor read them, though. That would be, and not vote on
Start
them.
choking again. Okay, so we're kind of moved and seconded. The mover and seconder, I guess, they've pulled that away, and we've got a motion for a new.
Technically, I changed my motion, so you need another second on that.
Okay.
Seconded.
Thank you.
Okay, Ms. McCarthy, you okay with what we've done so far?
I got it.
Okay, so the motion is to move the meeting on March 28th, Thursday, to Wednesday, March 27th at 7 PM. Okay, got a voice or?
No, we better we'd better have a roll call vote on that.
Okay, so the motion is yes, move it to the 27th, no, keep it at March 28th. So Ms. McCarthy, Please poll the council on that resolution.
Councilman Chase.
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois.
Yes.
Councilman Kramer.
Yes.
Mayor Levine.
Yes.
Councilman Prasad.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sherman.
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella.
Yes.
Councilman Wright.
Yes.
Okay, motion is carried. Okay, now back, and so all of those items that we said were the 28th, well, the 20th, the 26th, the 28th, whatever we said, were the 27th for items C, D, E, and F. So we're just on item F. Still moved by Councilman Chase, seconded by Councilman Wright. Is that correct, Ms. McCarthy?
Correct.
Okay, thanks. So I can go just to the vote now? Lose my place.
Yes.
Okay, so this is the vote on item 18F on the agenda, ordinance 4010-13, changing some definitions and changing some engineering fees. So Ms. McCarthy, please poll the council on that item, please.
Councilman Chase.
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois.
Yes.
Councilman Kramer.
Yes.
Mayor Levine.
Yes.
Councilman Prasad.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sherman.
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella.
Yes.
Councilman Wright.
Yes.
Okay, motion is carried. We now have item 18G on the agenda, ordinance 4011-13, an ordinance amending the code of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey, more particularly Chapter 112 Development, to clarify requirements pertaining to preservation area markers. This is expanding where markers have to go on certain parcels of land from just open space to also preservation area, which may not necessarily be open space. It's kind of a housekeeping item. So if anyone's doing things on the land, they have to put in these particular markers. Councilman Chase?
Yeah, well, oftentimes when a site plan is approved, particularly if there is land within the site that has been found to be wetlands, it's required that this have a conservation easement on it, and then the markers are to show what area is the conservation easement so that a future owner does not encroach on the conservation area. For instance, they're not supposed to mow it and convert it to lawn. And this is mainly just to be more specific about what areas this applies to, and also describe in greater detail the markers to keep people from encroaching on it.
Okay, thank you for that, for the explanation, clarification. So the foregoing ordinance is presented to the Township Council for adoption on first reading, posting, publication in accordance with the law, and public hearing, and final adoption on Tuesday, March 27th, 2013. Sorry, that's Wednesday, March 27th, 2013, at 7 o'clock p.m. here at the Municipal Complex. Is there a motion to introduce?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Ms. McCarthy, please poll the council on item 18G, ordinance 4011-13, please.
Councilman Chase.
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois.
Yes.
Councilman Kramer.
Yep.
Mayor Levine.
Yes.
Councilman Prasad.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sherman.
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella.
Yes.
Councilman Wright.
Yes.
Okay, motion is carried. Thank you. Now we have the final of our ordinance introductions for the evening. Item 18H, ordinance 4012-13, an ordinance amending the code of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey, more particularly Chapter 112 Development, to revise submittal requirements for land development applications. This is basically for subdivision applications. We're changing the number of copies that the developer has to give from 20 to 24, so that it can go before staff, all the various committees and such as that, so everyone can get to see it. The foregoing ordinance is presented to the Township Council for adoption on first reading, posting, publication in accordance with law, and public hearing, and final adoption on Wednesday, March 27th, 2013, at 7 o'clock p.m. at the Municipal Complex. Is there a motion to introduce?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Madam Clerk, please poll the council on item 18H, ordinance 4012-13, please.
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Kramer?
Yes.
Mayor Levine?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sherman?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Next, we have our consent agenda, items A through AK. Nothing else added, Ms. McCarthy?
No.
That does, okay, thank you. Consent agenda items are items which are basically of a fairly routine nature that, on which the council can vote all in one vote. It is any council person's prerogative to take an item off for a separate vote. So the items 19A through 19AK, as listed on the consent agenda portion of this meeting, are presented to the Township Council for adoption. Is there a motion for the consent agenda or questions?
I have
Councilman Kramer.
just a comment on AH. It's a resolution opposing State Bill 1451, amendments to the Open Public Meetings Act. On the face of it, it appears that this act is, or this amendment strengthens the Open Public Meeting Act, but in a lot of ways, it really encumbers it. Now, I speaking as someone who cut their teeth in this council chambers using the Open Public Meetings Act, I could say, however, that some of these go too far, and Franklin does most of these things, but to force them to do these things would tie our hands in many ways. So just for an example, it says that you have to give, at the beginning of the meeting, you have to give people 3 minutes to speak. Well, we sometimes move the public portion around in the meeting, sometimes so that the public can hear what's going on a particular issue, and that will give them the opportunity to speak with a little bit more information on that issue. And then there are the times, we generally give 5 minutes to speak, not 3, but there are times when the room is filled, and we amend it to 2 minutes because there just isn't enough time for everyone to speak. And 1 minute, an extra minute doesn't sound like much, but if there's 100 speakers, that's over an hour and a half just to that. So I think it's a good try, but I think many of the measures go too far. So I'm going to vote for this resolution, even though there are a few things in that amendment that I agree with, but I can't agree with all of the things. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, actually, that's a very good point, that you bring all of that up. And it's, as I've spoken to staff, it could be a big expense, not that we spend money for taxpayer purposes, that's fine. And a lot of the items, we put more explanations than most on our agendas anyway. They're available before, several days usually before the meeting, so everyone can see what's happening. So I agree, you put it well. Okay.
And I also, I never
Mr.
fail
Reno?
to point out the irony in all of this, that the legislature has adopted all of these things, and if you notice, most of them exempt the legislature from them.
Another good point.
How convenient.
I'm a fan of irony.
Okay, so are there any other items on the consent agenda or motion for the consent agenda?
Already moved on it.
No,
No, we didn't.
Oh, we didn't.
Motion for passage.
A second.
Yeah.
Okay, moved and seconded. If no further discussion, Ms. McCarthy, please poll the council on the consent agenda, items 19A through 19AK, please.
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois? Yes. Councilman Kramer?
Yes.
Mayor Levine?
Yes.
Councilman Prasad?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sherman?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
Okay, motion is carried. Since, let's see, There are no resolutions voted on separately. That's correct, isn't it?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So next we have our boards 21, old business 2013 board and commission appointments. If, are there any nominations for any positions, boards or commissions from the council? If not, number 22 would be executive session, which we do not have this evening, which leads us to number 23, adjournment. Is there a
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed.
Abstain? Okay, I think the ayes slightly have it, so unfortunately,
I have to stay.
okay. We are adjourned. Thank you very much. Very worthwhile day.